If Trump is a giant con man, yell at the con man, not the people who got conned.
Nobody is going to vote to say thank you. They're going to vote to say F you.
Welcome to Political Experts React, where we break down political ads and media, explain what the people behind them are trying to accomplish, and decide whether or not they did a good job. I'm Dan Pfeiffer, former communications director for Barack Obama. Joining me today is Democratic strategist and CNN contributor Paul Begala. Paul Begala, welcome back to Political Experts React.
Dan, thank you. It's great to be back. I love this show.
It's been quite a summer for politics. It's supposed to be our quiet summer. We got indictments coming. The Republican primary is kind of sort of off and running. And that's kind of why I wanted to have you on, because we want to look at how some of the candidates are messaging in the Republican primary in the effort to defeat Trump, beat Trump, and look a little bit at how Joe Biden is thinking about his campaign this far out. So Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We're going to start with an ad from a super PAC supporting Christie called Tell It Like It Is.
We know what's in your head, Donald. Now that Christie has qualified, should you show up to the debate? Because if you do, your opponents will bring up the impeachments, the indictments, bring up how you lost to Joe Biden, lost the House, lost the Senate. They will remind everyone you didn't build that big, beautiful wall and not one peso from Mexico. That instead of balancing the budget, you increased it by $6 trillion. That you never repealed Obamacare. Because that's what they'll say if you show up, especially that guy Christie. But if you don't go, you'll be called a coward, a chicken, reduced to throwing spitballs from the sidelines. So, Donald, you need to decide. Are you a chicken or just a loser? Tell It Like It Is PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Paul, what do you think of this spot and Christie's general approach to the primary thus far as kind of the one Republican willing to really throw a punch at Trump?
Yeah, I love it. And I love it for that reason, strategically. I love the execution. I had never seen the footage of Trump dancing with the chickens before. It's a great ad. But the strategy behind it is what's important. And Christie seems to be pretty much the only one who's figured out. If you want to beat Trump, you have to beat Trump. Right now, half the party is for Trump, which is dominant in an 11-candidate field, maybe insurmountable. But it means half's not. He's going for the half that's not all in for Trump, which is really smart, right? You got to hunt where the ducks are at. Christie is saying he's a loser and a liar, and he let you down. That's what Republicans need to be doing. Power doesn't surrender without a fight. And if you want to take it from the king, you have to take it.
I agree with you on the execution of the ad. I agree with you that the only way to beat Trump is to actually go after him. And it is very possible that Christie cannot win this primary. He is less popular with Republicans than Mike Pence, who they tried to murder a year and a half ago, right? But what Christie understands that I think the rest of these candidates do not understand is that they are long shots. And if you're a long shot, you have to engage in a high variance strategy. There has to be risk. There is no high floor, low ceiling, prevent defense, four corners way to beating Trump. You got to start slinging the ball, whatever sports metaphor we want to use. And he is doing that. And I'm a little always torn on the Christie stuff because there is this sense sometimes that, like, we love what he's saying, right? Progressives on Twitter love it. And that's usually a sign that means Republicans don't like it. You know, I think the one thing that Christie has going the others do not is that he gives off an element of strength and toughness. And that can have some appeal if he can rattle Trump. And so he at least understands that if he doesn't go for it, he has no shot. So you might as well go out there and win. I guess for him also, like, worst case scenario is he gets another TV contract if he loses. So it seems fine.
Courage is contagious. You're not going to beat Trump by being softer, gentler, by being nuanced. And in fact, in the town hall that Christie did on CNN, Christie pointed the way to take on Trump, not only for the Republicans, but for Joe Biden. And I hope President Biden watched. This has been a passion of mine since 2016 when I got it wrong. I was a strategist, as you know, for the super PAC that helped Hillary. And like many people, I was distracted by Trump's character. So we ran ad after ad about character. He could grab women by the privates. What we missed was how that would affect you. And Christie makes the case, and Biden should, that Trump has let you down. You built this country, and you trusted this man, and he let you down. Trump carried about 2,500, 2,600 counties out of the 3,100. Biden only carried about 550. The 550 little old counties that Joe Biden carried amount to 71% of GDP. All the Trump counties combined are only 29%. So they're economically falling behind. Their life expectancy is lower. Their opioid addiction rate is higher. Their crime rates in Trump counties are higher. He has let you down, Trump country. And that's the argument Christie made in the town hall. It's the argument Biden should make in the general election. Not, hey, you're racist and horrible for supporting Trump. But no, you're a good person. You're an American like we are. But this guy let you down. And it's a completely different argument than most liberals make.
Yell at the con man, not the people who got conned, right? It's not their fault. All right, I want to now look at an ad from a different approach from the Republicans to try to take down Trump. This is from the Win It Backpack.
I'm not really a fan of what's going on right now. I mean, the Democrats are just unbelievable. It's a mess. It's a hot mess. I love Donald Trump. I love what he did. Once he got in, I thought it was a breath of fresh air. He was attacked all the time, and it seemed like, it just seemed nonstop. The drama, it affected my family. I mean, with my own sister, I didn't get invited to her Thanksgiving after a while. He's got so many distractions. The constant fighting, something every day. And I'm not sure he can focus on moving the country forward. The election is really important because we're going in the wrong direction. I mean, we definitely need somebody that can freaking win. I think you'd probably lose that bet if you voted for Trump. You want somebody that's smart, who actually knows how to build teams to solve issues, focus on the issues that really need to be fixed.
Win It Backpack is responsible for the content of this ad.
Now, in the 2020 Democratic primary, electability was the signature driving issue. It was a centerpiece of President Biden's appeal with a lot of voters, even some who may not have agreed with him on all the issues. Do you think electability can be a factor in this Republican primary? And is this a good argument to drive that message?
Yes and no.
Oh, interesting.
First question, yes. Electability is an important part of the Republican critique of Trump. You have to go all the way back to Herbert Hoover, almost a century ago, before you find a president in either party who presided over the loss of the House, the Senate, and the White House in one term. It's hard to do. Trump pulled it off. Trump has never in his life gotten more votes than the Democrat. He's had more indictments than he has had victories. This is the argument to make. This execution, I needed a nap. Oh my God, this is weaker than bus stop chili. Seriously, that ad is softer than a month-old banana. It is not gonna do it. The guy seems like a great guy, by the way. If he were running, I might say, oh, I don't agree with him on issues, but I'd like him to be my neighbor. He's a very appealing guy, but it doesn't make me want to reject Trump. Watch it with the sound off, and it tells you nothing. That ad, without the sound, simply is a nice, thoughtful guy in dad jeans. He does this a lot, this gesture, clasping his hands, which shows thoughtfulness and reflection and centering. That's all good things. But it doesn't make me want to reject Trump. It's a terrible ad.
This is very clearly basically almost a transcription of a focus group conversation. You hear this in like Sarah Longwell's focus groups from her podcast. This is a constant thing of these people. They were for Trump. They like Trump. They voted for Trump, maybe in the primary last time, but certainly for president twice. And they took a lot of shit for it from people in their lives, maybe. And now they got to make a decision again. This is how people, I think, who are contemplating that very difficult decision, which is going to make them question parts of their own identity and where they fit into their community, how they're going to do it. But this ad is basically the stage directions. If you were to write on the whiteboard in the meeting about what you're trying to communicate, it would be this. You don't make it the script. And that's the problem here, is that you want to walk away with that sense that I was for Trump, I still like Trump, I kind of want a president like Trump, I just don't want to lose. But you have to show it, not tell it. This is a all tell, right? There's nothing there.
I think the best argument to say to my friends and neighbors and family members who voted for Trump is he betrayed you. He let you down. Getting back to your point about the con man. There's nothing wrong with trusting someone. The people who are victimized by the Bernie Madoffs or the Donald Trumps of the world are not bad people. You're not wrong, John, for supporting Trump, but he let you down. He is like the tenor at the opera. Before the curtain goes up, he's warming up. All he says is me, 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 me. It's never about you, you, you. That's missing from this ad too.
All right, people. My producers have informed me that 70% of you watching this video right now are not subscribed to the Pod Save America YouTube channel. I've asked you 50 times. I have embarrassed myself. I've debased myself. I've made myself the butt of jokes. I've made earnest appeals. I've argued why it's good for progressive media and Democrats in the fight against Trump. I've done all of these things. And 7 in 10 of you have been unwilling to simply move your mouse cursor 6 inches, click the button once, and subscribe. I don't know what else I have to do. I'm trying not to take it personally. Maybe you're just waiting to do it at some point soon, but just do it. I don't like doing these pitches. I kind of hate it. Don't feel great about myself. I would stop if we could get that number up to like 70% of people watching are subscribed. So throw me a bone, people. The last ad we're going to watch is from Joe Biden.
As the sun rises, we raise the flag, a symbol of all that we hold most dear as Americans. Courage, opportunity, democracy, freedom. They're the values and beliefs that built this country and still beat in our hearts. But they're under attack by an extreme movement that seeks to overturn elections, ban books, and eliminate a woman's right to choose. Joe Biden is running for re-election to make certain that the sun will not set on this flag. The promise of American democracy will not break.
Democracy must not be a partisan issue. It's an American issue. As your president, I will defend our democracy with every fiber of my being, and I'm asking every American to join me.
For freedom, for democracy, for America, Joe Biden.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
What do you think of this ad, Paul?
I think it's great. It's reclaiming patriotism. He is the president, and he is maximizing the benefit of that. The detriment is every bad thing that happens is his fault. You know, if there's a flood in Vermont, that's Biden's fault. I also think it's terribly important for Democrats, liberals, to reclaim the flag. If this house catches fire, that's the one thing I'm going to come in and pull out. You know what that is? That is a flag flown over the U.S. Capitol on the day Barack Obama was inaugurated as the first African-American president. It's the most precious physical possession I have. I love that Biden is reclaiming that. Courage, democracy, freedom. Right before the midterms, Biden gave this big speech at Independence Hall. One of my fellow Democratic pundits said, "Oh, this is terrible. He should be talking about gas prices." And I'd say, no. This is what he really cares about and believes in. And you saw the passion. And Biden was right, and the pundits were wrong. The election did not turn on gas prices, so the Democrats would have been wiped out. It turned on fundamental rights, democracy, and abortion rights. And I love seeing my president rallying people to the cause. And this, I think, is where he needs to go more and more. Look, inflation is down, crime is down, illegal border crossings are down, wages are up, jobs are up, manufacturing is up. So the MAGA crowd sees peace and prosperity, and it just pisses them off. I'm telling you, America is back, and I want to know why they don't have America's back. Why are they not rooting for America? I just think that every incumbent has to embody our country. Every president does. It takes a lot. And I think Biden is very comfortable inhabiting all of that power and prestige and patriotism.
Your most famous, I guess, presidential campaign was the Clinton campaign in 1992. The signature phrase of that campaign that is then drilled in the head of every Democratic strategist who was born after that is, "It's the economy, stupid." The idea that one of Bill Clinton's chief strategists would love an ad to kick off a presidential campaign that does not mention the economy in any real way, I think would probably come as a shock to people a few years ago. So how do you sort of square that circle?
A couple ways. First, things have changed. None of us ever thought we would live to see the day of an existential threat to democracy. And a threat from within. I'll never get over January 6th. I mean, 9/11, where I lost friends, was the worst day of my life. But it was an external threat. It was foreign terrorists coming to attack America. That was awful. But by God, January 6th was our own. So I do think that changed everything. At Trump's rise, January 6th really brings home to people that fundamental democracy is on the ballot, as Biden says. Now, that shouldn't be the only thing he talks about. He does have to make his economic case. And I'm sure President Obama was this way when you served him. Certainly Clinton was. These guys, they get all this stuff done, and then they get furious. Why don't people know about my precious accomplishments?
Yes.
Well, our mutual friend, Bill Burton, he said this to me before the midterms. He said, nobody is going to vote to say thank you. They're going to vote to say F you. So how do you get the economic message in an F you time? I think it's this, loss aversion, what the investors call that, right? People are more worried about losing money investment than they are happy about making money. Dobbs changed everything. It was a right that Americans had thought was a constitutional right for half a century, and they took it away. And if they can take that away, they can take Social Security away. And they've said they want to. They can take Medicare away, and they said they will. They can take Medicaid away. They can take Obamacare away. They can take the minimum wage away. The risk of losing all these accomplishments is the way to get credit for the accomplishment. Rather than simply saying, I did a good job, he needs to say, they are a threat to all the things that you and I did together. You came to me and gave me this power. They want to take that away from you. I think that's a different argument than just, I did a good job.
Paul Begala, thank you so much for joining us, and I'm sure we will talk to you again as this apparently endless election cycle progresses on.
Dan, thanks a lot. This is great.
Thanks for watching these ads and videos with us. If you have anything you'd like us to break down, let us know in the comments. See you all next time.